Hey guys, it's Maria Park, and welcome to Approach the Nerd. And we are talking about our Kung Fu Season 1, Episode 10 spoiler review. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you don't watch this and come back until you do. Not going to lie, I am a little bit in my feelings about this, but I'll get to that portion in a minute. So I'm going to do a general recap of the series, and then or the episode, and then I'll talk about something I had an issue with, which should not come of any surprise at this point. So this episode starts off with Althea, and she's talking about her wedding, and she's asking basically who, Ryan's going to invite, if he's going to bring his boyfriend Joe, and also if Nikki's going to resolve her love triangle and invite Evan or invite Henry. So we have this kind of side relationship thing in the story, and then we have a few things that are going on simultaneously. So their mother, Mei Li, is listening to all of the audio tapes recorded by her, sister, who she now knows is dead, or at least it's making it seem like she's dead. I'm not sure though, again, because in the last episode, somebody buried her and we don't know who it was. So I don't know. She may not be dead. This may be something that, was done to make her look like she's dead and she's actually being like held captive or something. I don't know. But anyway, Mei Li's listening to, the tapes, and, she's, revealing that her sister contained a warning about the mystical weapons. And so her and Henry do some deep diving, and they learn that the original, I guess, monks or whoever's taking care of the mystical weapons realized that keeping the weapons together for too long can make somebody corrupted. So they wanted to split the weapons apart and be protected by guardians, hence why we have so many guardian families. And with that realization, Nikki realizes it's even more imperative that Zilan, or I like to call her Lady Z, does not get her hands on all the weapons, because she's pretty much got almost all of them at this point. Kerwin and Lady Z are basically celebrating because they managed to get the axe that they were going after in the Myanmar region away from Kerwin's father's team before they even realized that it was found or gone. So there's that. Now, they have an interesting story in this episode, in that it does seem like Lady Z has a soft spot for Kerwin, and Kerwin definitely seems to be in the Lady Z, because at some point in the episode, there is a guy that shows up who works for Kerwin's dad. His name is Edgar. And, he says, well, he put a tracer on Kerwin, so he knew where he was all along. And so that's how they knew they went to Myanmar. And that's how he knew that he was up to something. And so he comes and he, basically holds him and Lady Z at gunpoint and says, we want the axe. And basically Kerwin reveals the secret compartment that Lady Z has with all of the mystical weapons that she has so far to Edgar, to try and save her from being killed by him, even though Lady Z's like, don't say anything. Well, then Kerwin ends up taking a dagger that Edgar gets her, and he's like, finish her off. And, instead of killing her, he ends up killing Edgar, and then it traumatizes him, because you can tell Kerwin has never taken a life. Then Zilan basically defeats all of the other men that Edgar had brought with him to save Kerwin, because she could have just fought him and left, or taken the weapons and left, whatever. But I think she does have feelings too for Kerwin. So the Kerwin Lady Z thing is definitely something I wasn't expecting. So there's that. And then a non-toxic situation, they would be a very cute couple. But considering where her end goals are, it's still hard to sympathize with her, even though Kerwin is probably just going to be somebody who gets lost in the struggle in the end. I hope not, but I really think that Kerwin may end up getting hurt or killed defending her, as we saw how quick he was to murder, and he's never murdered anyone just to save her life. So I am worried about that, which they do have 4 of the weapons so far. So they got 4, I think it's 7 mystical weapons. So they have 3 to go. And so the race is on at this point. And then also at the same time, we have Althea dealing with what I told you guys was going to happen when she signed that NDA. She's having to deal with breaking the NDA, coming forward. She's talking to a lawyer, and the lawyer's letting her know how difficult it's been. The nightmare for her is not that she was sexually assaulted. It's everything that's going to come next with her having to prove it. And then on top of that, there is a young boy named Cody who's being accused of killing a fellow student in his frat. And that Evan he just has a feeling it's not normal, and Nikki agrees to help him. And she basically ends up infiltrating the frat house during a party and finding this video where it was actually the other frat boys, specifically one other guy, but he ended up drugging this guy and he ends up dying. And it wasn't Cody who was sitting in jail. It was actually this guy. But before she could get, she recorded on her phone from the projector screen. They ended up smashing her phone, and her SIM card apparently was trash, which I don't understand, because in this day and age, mostly everything that you have gets backed up to the cloud. So why isn't there a cloud copy of this? But I mean, I'm just, you know what? At this point, I just suspend everything. So they had to find another way to help Cody. And what ends up happening is they do find another girl who was actually at the frat party who saw what was happening, and who the guy who actually ended up doing it from the frat threatened to ruin her life if she came forward. Well, they talk her into coming forward. So Cody is released. And, you know, it was Althea. They gave her the pep talk saying, yeah, coming out could be, you know, could have consequences. It could, you know, be horrible for your life. But the truth is simple. You just always should tell the truth. And I'm like, yeah, but you was wishing you had said that before you signed the NDA, you know. But she's doing the right thing, because she told Dennis, and she, you know, they went to, they did go to a lawyer in this episode, and she decided to press forward with it. So yeah, Althea is about to have a rough spot. Let's put it that way. It's about to be very hard for her, especially since she signed that NDA. So I am looking forward to seeing how that is resolved. But the biggest thing for me, two things happened, and this is something I've always had a problem with the CW writing. I've talked about this on other reviews. I've talked about this in general. I don't know what it is about the CW always getting rid of queer characters that are in a relationship. So we have Nikki, who has a love triangle between Evan and Henry. And by the end of this episode, she went to Evan. She said, I will always care about you. But she basically decided she wants to be with Henry. And she confesses to Henry. They kissed, and now she has her man. Her brother, Ryan, has been dating this guy, Joe. Very, very adorable. I've been shipping them from the first time I saw them together. And I said, whatever the CW writes a story with a gay, lesbian, whatever couple, as long as they're LGBT, they're either going to die. One of them's going to die, or somebody's going to get a job or have to move away. And I literally just joked about this, guys. And in this episode, Ryan finally got the courage to take Joe to meet his parents formally, because they have seen him, because of the riot and him hiding in the riot and them having to defend him. They knew who he was, but never introduced as his boyfriend. So Ryan brings him to his parents' restaurant to meet both his mother and father formally as his boyfriend. And they both accepted him. The father was even having him help him with, I guess, his version of Photoshop. And the mother was cooking meals and telling Ryan, you should have wore a blazer, and I like him. This is something that's not commonplace within, LGBT is not commonplace acceptance-wise within like Asian community. I know I'm in an Asian marriage. I'm in an LGBT marriage. I know how hard it is and difficult it is with traditional parents. So the fact that this happened, this is a momentous thing. This should have been amazing for Ryan. But not like 5 minutes after that, Joe's like, I got a job offer. It's my dream job. I never thought I'd be recruited, and it's in Chicago. And I'm like, of course it is, because that is what the CW effing does every freaking time. Every time there is a couple that is in an LGBT relationship in these shows, outside of Ava and Sarah in Legends of Tomorrow, they mess it up every single time. It is so frustrating. It is frustrating because this is a channel that just says representation, and they don't represent. It's like, this is not how LGBT relationships are. LGBT relationships are just as normal as straight relationships, but it's always these couples that they split up, and I don't understand it. So I'm in my feelings because I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. I knew the moment I said, oh, they're so cute, they were gone. They were goners. Poor Ryan was sitting there crying his eyes out. I mean, I really felt so bad for this character. And here is his sister and her straight relationship, not with one guy, but with two guys pining after her. And she gets to be with her, her guy. And it makes me so annoyed. Hi, Ryan. I am so annoyed by the fact that they're having Joe's character take a job and leave the show already, right after Ryan basically was able to have, his parents accept his boyfriend, accept that he was gay, accept this relationship he's happy in, and then bam, no more relationship. Now, if they come back next week and Joe decides I don't need this job, I'm going to stay here with you, that's fine. That's the CW doing something I don't expect, which is not what they've done traditionally out of the, if it's 10 relationships, 9 out of 10 are going to end like this, either dead or one of them has to leave for some reason. It has happened across the board. I'm kind of sick of it. And it's annoying. It's annoying. It's literally, we have cancel culture and then we have CW canceling, which of LGBT people. So it's just what it is. So I had to throw that out there. I am not happy with this whole Ryan and Joe situation. I think it is frustrating. I think don't build us up on a relationship that you don't plan to last more than a few episodes. It just makes me upset. So yeah, I'm in my feelings again about another CW writing F up that I am not happy about. And again, this may not be the writers. It could have been a CW treatment. I'm starting to wonder if there's like a CW oversight that just says, no, we don't want this. No, we don't want that. Veto this script, veto that script. But this whole Ryan and Joe thing, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it's bad when even the villain of this show has a relationship with somebody, but you pick on the one LGBT representation couple in the whole damn show. And then, oh, I got a job offer. I got to go to Chicago. When? Tomorrow. Really? Like, really? I can't even. But outside of that, not a bad episode. Again, I know that a lot of people come to watch shows like this for the action. They don't care about the relationships. But my thing is, if you're going to put a relationship in it, it should have a little bit of focus. And it's messed up. It is messed up. Hi, Terrell. Yeah, I agree with you. That threw me for a loop when Ryan was like, I'm going to take you to my parents' restaurant since you're hungry to meet my parent. That is a big deal when you take someone to meet your parents. And it's a big deal when they're traditional Chinese. I mean, yes, they're more Chinese American, in this version, but still, it does not always happen. Acceptance doesn't always happen in LGBT relationships. I'm still waiting on mine with my in-laws. So, I mean, it doesn't happen across the board. So like for them to be like so open and willing to accept this relationship. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm out. Peace out. I'm like, what was the point to this? I don't understand. The only thing that I can think of, honestly, is that they want you to see the LGBT struggle is real in this country. And apparently by CW standards, we don't know how to have relationships. That's literally all I'm seeing from this, because it's literally the LGBT couples, they split up all the damn time. I don't get it. Like the only representation that I see right now is Ava and Sarah, and technically they're both like clones. Like, so yeah, I'm in my feelings about it. I totally agree with your rant about Batwoman yesterday. Yeah, like I said, I'm glad somebody else is seeing it, because I don't worry, because in general, I'm gonna be real with you, I don't really care what people think when I do my own opinions. I respect other people's opinions. I just don't care if people don't agree with me. It's not my issue. But it does make me feel like people can see what I'm seeing. So almost like validation in a way. It's like, this is not me putting it out there that I hate this character, that I don't think this character has a right to be this character. It's just the writing for this character sucks. So just like poor Ryan and Joe, this was stupid. I mean, the only way I will not be in my feelings is if they completely 180 Joe's decision and he chooses to be with Ryan over running off to Chicago to start this other career that we knew nothing about. So it is a thing. Hi, Serenity. How are you? The boys need a life and relationship coaches. I can teach them. I would take man home and talk to them about that job. You have a week to figure out, not just break up on the spot. Dumb. I mean, and then after taking him home to see his parents, I mean, I was in my feelings. I'm like, when Mother was like, you should wear a blazer. Are you going to bring him to the wedding? I'm like, yes, we even got Mama Mei Lee on board. Everything's cool. You guys can date. We can see more like cute interactions with you. We actually can see a healthy LGBT relationship between two men, which is also very rare because normally it's two women in these shows, except for Riverdale, where it's everybody. But we're finally getting representation in a series that's already considered to be progressive since it's almost like entirely Asian cast. And then you pull this shit. I'm like, I can't handle this. I'm like, I can't. I was sitting here like, really? I wasn't even shocked because it's a CW show. I was not shocked. I wasn't shocked. I mean, honestly, let's be clear. I joked about it. I said it was going to happen and it happened. It literally happened. And I think I even said they either kill you off or the person takes a job somewhere and moves away. That's it. That's how you leave the CW as a gay person or a queer person. That's literally how you go. If you're a transgender, you don't actually go anywhere. I think you just disappear. I mean, that's the CW. Dare to defy. Yeah. I'm in my feelings, guys. I am in my feelings. So I know the preview for the next week's episode of Kung Fu, they show another Guardian now that we know that there are other Guardian families, which I thought we already kind of established because that's kind of what Lady Z and Pei-Ling were. But now it's a younger boy who is, basically gonna, I guess he's got another weapon because they have 4 of the weapons. I think Nikki has 1. Lady Z has 4. So there are 2 left. And he has 1 of them. And so, of course, Lady Z's coming for it. So next week's going to be interesting. I'm really interested in how that's going to resolve. And for some reason, I still think Kerwin's going to die. But we'll see. We will see. Kung Fu is an RJ appearing to celebrate July 4th. What? I'm sorry, what you're saying, Emmanuel. For a straight male like myself, I wanted to see more LGBT representation in these shows. I hate that shows build up cute gay relationships and take them away from us. Yeah, almost immediately. Like literally almost immediately. It's so weird. I don't get it. I like Ryan in the first half of Batman season 2, but then she was so horrible to Alice, and it's hilarious how Javicia Lizard said she created her own Batwoman, but literally she is Kate. She's Kate. She doesn't see it. None of them see it. I guess maybe they're not even interpreting their own scripts correctly. So yeah, it's ridiculous. I knew something was up with Joe, but I thought it was going to be something shady. He was too good to be true. I mean, what is going to be the drama in this ship? When he got that text, I was sus. Yeah, when he first looked at it, I thought he was being blackmailed, or maybe something happened because he's an activist. Or maybe it wasn't. I thought it also could have been something where he had to go, protest something somewhere else that's like major. I didn't think that was going to happen. Glad it was something small, like getting a job and not asking to write an expose on Ryan's sister with the whole lawsuit thing. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel it. And it makes me mad too that we see Joe and they have this cute scene and then we don't see him. He's out of town or he's doing this or he's doing that. Now that he was out of town last episode, I wonder if he was interviewing for this job. I wonder if that's what happened. It's just something we didn't see. But people live their lives behind the scenes in CW and we're just supposed to catch up, I guess. I don't know. It's so stupid. I don't like even when we have LGBT characters, we don't feel that we are being represented. It feels like they don't believe in what they are writing. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. What hurts my feelings is when the Batwoman show gets messed up because Carolyn Dries is a lesbian. So it's like, why are you doing this? How are you messing this up? It goes back to my, me thinking about The Last Airbender and M. Night Should Be Gone. That's what I call him. Casting and whitewashing it, and he literally is a minority. We had a minority whitewashing cast members. So I just, oh guys, the struggle is real. The struggle is real. What made me so upset too is that I wanted to concentrate on the weapons, the Guardians, the mystical elements of this series. You gave us this. We didn't ask you for this. Like Ryan could have been a supporting character who's still trying to come out of the closet or whatever. It didn't even have to be a factor. We didn't have to have the Althea storyline. We could have still had her dealing with her parents because her sister was, basically a guardian, I guess. We did not have to have these side couples, drama, stories inputted into this show, but you chose to do this so you could have your token LGBT characters and token LGBT relationships just so you can do what you can only do every time, and that's to get rid of them. So, you know, I thought they would have learned with the backlash from the 100 when they killed off Lexa. But they've learned nothing. And I understand there's individual showrunners. They've learned absolutely nothing in all of this time. They've learned nothing. So, but that is why Kate Kane was not killed off, because Carolyn Dries did not want to have a barrier gay trope. And that's why we have the convoluted mess that was Batwoman. Not that I think she should have been killed off. I think they should have just recast her. And if they wanted to have Ryan come in and have her own show, they should have made her own show, because I can no longer accept the whole thing with Ryan, because they did not build her up to be independent and a strong Black woman. They basically built her up to take over a white woman's life. That's literally what they did. But I just can't handle it. So, oh, guys, how many episodes are left? I want to say 1 or 2. I have to go look. Either next episode or I think the one after that is the season finale. But I have to go back and look, because we're on episode 10. And I thought there were 11 or 12 episodes this season. I could be wrong. Actually, let me see. Kung Fu season 1. Let's see. Number of episodes. Now it's saying there's 10 episodes, which I don't get, because we just saw episode 10. No, it should be 12. There should be 12 episodes. They're saying 10 on Wikipedia, but that's wrong. I think they're 12 total. So 2 more. That actually happened to me in real life. A guy I was dating got a job out of town behind my back, found out from our waiter who was one of his friends, and instead of breaking up, he ghosted me. Wow. To quote Tony Braxton, he wasn't man enough for me. He was not. He was a coward. So you were better off. No Charm this week. I used to look forward to Charm, but now I'm begging for it to be written good. Yeah, good luck with that. It's another CW treatment. But yeah, like even on Charmed LGBT representation has been very interesting. Mel is a lesbian, but she has no track record for having successful relationships or anything else LGBT, to be honest. And then the one time they bring in the T, they have 2 transsexual character or transgendered characters, and they just, one goes back home and the other one just, we don't see Kevin anymore. Kevin's gone. Kevin's just gone. Kelly didn't want to kill Kate because BYG trope, but I would argue that trauma that she had Kate went through this season is just as bad. Yep. I mean, you're still doing the same trope. You're getting rid of your lesbian. You're like, you went through all this crap. You were tortured. Now it's time for you to go. You can't have your life back. You got to go. Somebody else is living your life. You're out. That's literally it. I love how accepting Ryan parents accepted Joe and Althea finally spoke up. I'm telling you that. I love the fact that they had that moment, because again, this is something that's not stereotypical. I mean, I am still trying to get my in-laws to accept my marriage to my spouse, and they are Korean. And like this is a Chinese family, very traditional, born over in China. They're not like 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation. They were born in China. So this is a traditional Chinese family who is accepting their son is gay and accepting that he has a boyfriend. And that to me is amazing. I can't take away from that. That is amazing. But at the same time, the problem actually came from the fact that the boyfriend is just gone, it's just gone. Althea speaking up. Yeah, I was in my feelings about her signing the NDA, because I was worried that by her not coming forward, any woman who went to work at that company after her was walking into the lion's den. And I mean, yes, I know it's hard to come forward when you're traumatized and hurt, and it's, you don't want to feel like you're the problem, you're the, you're the reason for this happening and blah, blah, blah. But when you're quiet, like she learned when the girl came to her for advice on what, if she should take a job at her old job, she's like, well, how many people am I going to be letting go, to this guy for him to do the same thing that he did to me, to them? And that was my main argument. I know a lot of people were in my feelings saying I was not happy that Althea was, taking that NDA. I thought that was bad representation for hashtag Me Too and all of that stuff, because that is not how you, to me, that is not how you should have been a role model, I guess, in terms of the CW show. Because I know what happens in real life. I know there are probably women to this day who never talk about stuff that happens. And unfortunately, people will come after them. And unfortunately, something will probably happen to them too, because they didn't know. They walked into a situation, didn't realize it was bad. It's sad. You don't want to blame the victims. It's just when you don't come forward, that same person, the predator, gets away with it. And that's kind of what was happening. By her taking that money, she was essentially allowing this guy to do it to somebody else. And that was my main issue. So I'm really glad Althea saw this in this season and was like, I need to come forward. This guy needs to stop. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, the whole Ryan and Joe thing, guys. Nikki finally chose Henry. Yeah, about damn time. Honestly, if I was the guys, I would have been like, you know what? You're just taking too long. You're wishy-washy. I don't have time for this. Candace Patton hasn't been in 7, 14, and 15 because she went back to America because she was homesick and she doesn't have any family in Canada, and she'll have to quarantine when she comes back to Canada. Oh, so she needed to leave for a while. That's fair. That is fair. That makes sense. I think she's single too. So yeah. Okay. She was probably burned out, but she might be in the next episode. I don't know. But I mean, you make some good points, because I think a lot of them are either married or have other significant others that can come visit them. So yeah, she probably was having issues. That makes sense. I feel bad for her. It must be lonely up there. Be very lonely. But in a nutshell, so she's in 7/16. Okay, in a nutshell, again, I've got to go back and saying the plot with the mystical weapons and what's happening with the more we learn about, Mei Ling's sister, the Guardians, now that we know there's multiple Guardian families, all this is getting exciting. Kung Fu is not a bad show. I don't have a problem with it in that regard. The problem that I have is the CW treatment that's happening on the LGBT stuff. I had a problem with how they were handling Althea's story, but now that seems to be working out. And sometimes Nikki's a little bit too blindsided by things. Well, she's got her blinders on, I guess is a better way of putting it, and saying they made her not see around her. And she actually addressed that in this episode too. She tells Henry, I know I've been obsessed. I know I've been focused on just this, but I want to be with you. So I'm like, so everything I said they should work on in my past reviews, they kind of worked on. The only thing they did that I said they were going to do is that they're getting rid of Joe. And that really irritates me. I hate being right, guys. I hate being right. I hate that we didn't get to hear her tell Dennis about sexual assault. Yeah, I mean, they did kind of show her about to tell her and not like the reaction, but we didn't get to hear that conversation, which is fine because it made it more real for me, because it made it seem it is a private moment between her and her future husband. So I like that they filmed it that way. But we know that, he was told, and we see how ticked off he was, and he's ready to take this guy to the rim. And the one thing that we all need to remember about this is that Dennis's family is loaded. Yes, they invested a lot of money into this guy, but they are loaded. Now, I don't know if all of their investments are tied in this company. It'd be stupid to have all their investments tied into this one guy, but I don't think they're going to be hurting for money. And I think that they will have the money to fight because, again, they have money. The real thing is, will it cost them? Like what will it cost, basically? We all know that it will cost basically Althea's reputation. The lawyer even said every time they Google you, you're going to be known as the girl that was sexually assaulted by her boss. That's what they're going to know you for. That is going to be on your record. And it's not fair. It is something that happens in the society, and it's not fair. It's not fair to victimize the victim, but it happens. So this stuff is real. So how they handle that part, this conversation is right now, all of this is real. It's completely real. The only thing I have a problem with, guys, is how unrealistic LGBT representation is in this show. So, or in CW as a whole. It's just stupid. But yeah, we are almost to 30 minutes, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm about to dive into my Republic of Sarah video. I'm going to try and have that out later tonight because, good stuff. And yeah, we're gonna have since we're not having our Friday review, it does give me a chance to play catch up on some other like videos and shows that I haven't been able to do because of Charm Night. I am watching a movie tonight called Wolves from Within, which is based off a video game, which is hilarious, about a really small town with a brand new sheriff who happens to be Black, who basically are in the throes of werewolf assaults. So there's werewolf. I don't know if it's one werewolf, multiple werewolves, but there's something werewolf related happening in their town, and it's got scary moments, but it's kind of a horror comedy. So I'm probably going to do a review on this more than likely tomorrow, since we're watching it tonight. So that is something that you will see on the channel. And then I'm going to try and play catch up on some of the other comic book character spotlight videos that I've been letting stay on the wayside because I haven't had time. So trying to use this as catch-up time. So pray for me, because I still am anemic and I'm still very tired, but I am determined to press on and get these videos done. So, and I really need to be putting a lot more videos up for my approach to Yuri, since I've only done one video so far in a month. So I need to get some more up. If you guys are on that channel for Approach to Yuri, which is my more LGBT themed one that does like manga, really it's going to be anything LGBT. If you have something you want me to do, make sure you let me know. So I will put that on I'm making a flow chart to see what videos to put up on that channel that are just LGBT themed. So let me know what you want. If you are subscribed to Approach the Yuri, if you're not, subscribe to Approach the Yuri, because I'm going to be posting more videos there soon. All right, guys, I love you. If it is day for you, have a good day. If it's night, have a good night. And I will see you in the next stream.